Today, I am absolutely privileged and, so excited. I've truly been looking forward to this interview for a long time. And this is no lie, since this project has begun. This is not only someone that I have had the absolute privilege of spending some time with, getting to know on a much more personal level, on a professional level, and been in total admiration of the commitment she has in serving the greater good, in serving the next generation, and building a very exciting and inspiring career in tech. Give it up for Sneha Manam. Let me just introduce our beautiful guest today, starting as a software engineer, mastering the technical depths before moving into product and program leadership. Now leads a billion-dollar tech portfolio, translating complex strategies into measurable, high-impact outcomes. Known for combining engineering precision with operational instinct, including launching AI-driven dashboards and streamlining over 40 strategic initiatives, holds both an MBA and an MS in computer science, bridging the gap between big vision and practical execution. A true builder, operator, and team champion, Sneha empowers people and projects to deliver with clarity and purpose. Welcome, Sneha, to the PLA podcast. It's such a treat to have you on today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dunya. I mean, it's amazing to be here. Thank you so much for that amazing welcome.
It's been a true privilege. I think that is something that I want us to dive into your story and what brought you here. But really, I think one of the big pieces that I'm most excited about this conversation is, what is your vision for the future, and not only for just you, but for the next generations and the women that you are inspiring in this work and career?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start, from how I was brought up, right? Because that has a lot to do with where I want to go, or where my vision is, because it's more of, how I was brought up and also some of my values that come in. So I was brought up in an environment that was very nurturing, but also very education focused, right? So we were always told by our parents that education is the main goal. Like, you have to be educated. Wealth comes and goes. The one thing that we can give you is, education. So go get those things, learn as much as you can. So I have always been a student, and I always wanted to be like a lifelong student, right? Just absorbing as much information, as many lessons and values that I can. Apart from that, they were also always talking about values are not just to serve me, but also to serve the community around us, right? It's for the societal good. So that's also something that I was always driven by. How can I help people? How can I help organizations? So like all of that kind of merges into one thing. And yeah, that's where I want to go. And since I was young, I always wanted to, I'm a girl, so I always wanted to kind of encourage girls to go, like, achieve as much as you can, or like, live up to your potential. So that's something that I always think about. And I do mentorship for women to make sure that, again, they are achieving to their full potential, they're living to their full potential, right? Because we always end up with having some hangups, which are not all physical, which could be made up. So that's something that I kind of strive for, to say, hey, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So that's something that I like to kind of break their boundaries and make them see what they could actually achieve. So my vision for the future is for, not just me, but for all women to kind of know that they can get whatever they want. It's just, they might be stopping themselves. There could be some societal things too, but I want to do everything I can from my perspective to kind of make them feel like they can go for it.
I love this. I think there's so much value. And to anyone listening, I think that any women listening, whether they're just starting off in tech or they've been in tech for a very long time and are looking to have a greater impact, or any men listening that may have a daughter at home that's just starting her career or going to school, I think there's going to be a lot of value that we're going to find in this conversation. And already we're starting off so inspired. I think this is exciting. There are a few really key points that you've brought up that I just want to reiterate. That piece around education cannot be taken away from us, and wealth will come and go. There will be those ins and outs of our career, these ups and downs, but what we have inside of us, no one can take away. And I think that that mission and empowering women with that knowledge and that reminder is so, so powerful. And you really do embody this in so many ways.
Oh, thank you.
Really. No, I mean it. I do mean it. It's been such a joy to spend time with you and get to know you. And so there's a few things that I'm curious about. What would you say? And the other piece before I jump into this next one that I want to bring up also was oftentimes these are self-imposed limitations that women can oftentimes adopt, right? They're illusions of what can and cannot be done. And there's a lot more potential possibly on the table for a woman than she may realize for herself. So, so powerful. And I'd be curious to know what were some of the limitations you may have had early on in your career that you start to realize with time, wait a minute, these are illusions and they actually aren't true.
Yeah, like for me, I would say the biggest lesson that I had to learn, right, for myself is how do I get off of this credential treadmill? The credential treadmill is about how many degrees do I get? How many certifications do I get? Right. And I was always thinking, oh, if I get that next degree, I already told you, right? I have two masters. I have a master's in computer science, and I also did an MBA to get that well rounded view of not just technology, but also strategy, right? But then I also did multiple certifications. And then as I kept doing all of these things, I'm like, okay, now that I have this on my resume, now I can get into that room where I can make real impact, right? But that never ends because it's, oh, this certification now. Oh, there's a new one. Oh, there's a new course. So it kind of piles up, and you're always on this, as I was saying, this treadmill that you can't get off of, right? Because it's like, oh, this credential, let me get this. But what what made me realize it is, oh, okay, the letters after my name are not what is going to help me. It's actually me getting out there and providing value in public, right? That's what I have to do, because my value of helping people, all of that comes from that, right? So I have to get out there and start teaching, or start, providing value again in public, right? So that was like a big challenge that I had, where maybe I was hiding behind my credentials, but I had to realize that no, this is not the path. I
Wow.
can provide real value right now with everything I have. I don't need one more credential. I know I don't need one more certification. So that was like the biggest challenge that I had to get over to to get to the other side where I can provide value. And again, that was also not that easy because I was an introvert. I'm still an introvert, but it's just that visibility, kind of feels very intimidating in the beginning, where you're like, oh, I have to put something out there. That's me. That was very intimidating. And I remember the first time I put a video out there, I was literally, once I put it out there, I was like, am I still safe? Is it still good? Because I was literally going, oh, okay, I'm still here. Nothing happened. Oh, this is great. So I guess I can do more, right? So again, for anyone who's struggling with that, thinking about, oh, what would this do to me? It'll only be positive, because it'll get better. The more you put things out there, the less you start feeling the way you were feeling in the very beginning. So, yeah, it'll feel awkward. It'll feel uncomfortable to look at the video, just by yourself and talk. But all of that will come down as you keep doing more of it, because your confidence builds, you get used to it. It's a muscle just like any other muscle that you build, right? So in the beginning it could be weaker, but as you keep doing it, it just gets stronger and stronger. And the other thing that helped me is, again, my value of helping
Yeah.
people, right? I kept thinking to myself, yes, I'm putting this out there, and it doesn't matter how many people look at it. If it helps one person, that is enough, right? I mean, it might not be enough, but I was telling myself, that's why I'm doing this, right? That's the whole goal, that I'm trying to help someone who might want to hear this today, or for whom this would help out. And I guess that was the biggest challenge, where I had to go from collecting these credentials to a place where I go, I have enough.
Yeah.
you know, I can teach. I
Mm.
have value to provide. And that is what helped me also get into rooms where I can provide real impact because of that visibility.
Wow. You brought up so many key points, and a lot of us, and in some ways, it's a double-edged sword, right? So many of us that are lifelong learners are so committed to growing
Exactly.
forever, right? And it's knowing, when am I using this lifelong learning muscle and skill actually to a detriment, and it's no longer actually serving me, rather than, hey, I'm actually just exposed, I'm exercising my skills, I'm stretching them, I'm acquiring new skills, and it's adding to what I'm already creating as value. So I think the other piece that I want to share is, there's so much in the importance of just putting yourself out there. And Sneha, you brought up a really key point. So many of us are hiding the value we could be providing to the world behind closed doors, while someone out there could be benefiting from what we have to share. And here we are doubting the value we bring to the table. And so many of us do this. And we see this oftentimes with women. Like, we oftentimes are thinking, you know what? We're re-questioning. I really want this to be,
Mhm.
I need to know what I'm talking about. I need to be more prepared and more prepared and more prepared. And really, maybe it's about, can I just show up? Can
Yep.
I provide value? Can I be imperfect? And even in that, it's going to grow naturally. Like you said, the first video may be a little awkward. The first time you speak on stage, you may be, ooh, I may stumble my words. But eventually 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, 30 times, and it's like we're blowing ourselves away.
Yep, yep. And that's where it is. Like it's like, am I providing value? It's always,
Mm.
oh, is this something that is new that I'm talking about? Let me look through the whole internet and see if no one has ever talked about it before, right? Like those are the ideas that you might end up getting. You're like, wait, did anyone say this before? Or am I the first one? Doesn't matter. Just
Yes.
go out there and just do it, right? Doesn't matter if other people said it. You have something that you're saying that's coming from you that could help someone, right? Like, it might sit well with someone that might not sit well, because someone else is saying it. So be yourself, go out there and just do it.
Wow. I love it. And the power of starting. The power of starting. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
And I love that piece that you shared around, like, no one has said it your way. Like, the world may actually be waiting for our version of this. You may explain it, even if you're using almost the exact same words as the next person, for whatever reason, it's going to resonate to someone else when you share it. So putting it out there is so key.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
I'd be curious about the more recent lessons in career. Like, what have been certain recent lessons in, let's just say, last 6 months to a year, we were thinking, you know what, that was more recently in my career. I've been working through this. I've been growing through this. This is my next evolution.
Yeah, I would say as anyone else, right? It's we are living in the AI world now.
Yeah.
So that was something that has been happening for a while, but now it's more public and we are all getting kind of into it, right? So that has been sort of that orientation that I had to change in how I research stuff, how I gather data, how I learn things, right? Has it become more easier? Yes, it has. It has also become, again, we have to become more adaptable to all of these little changes that are coming up. And I would say that, yeah, so recently I would say that AI has been something that I've been trying to use in my daily life. I try to use it at work. But again, at work we have to do a lot more due diligence to use it. But yeah, I've been trying to kind of make sure that we are not getting behind on using AI, because now if you don't use it, it's you are falling behind. So that would be something that I'm looking at this point.
It's beautiful. And I think you're right. It is completely disrupting all industries, really, in so many beautiful ways and in challenging ways for many. And if we're not using it, we are falling behind. So I think one of the invitations for the audience here is just getting curious and getting adaptable. That word you use, I think, is really key and very valuable. Like, what is your relationship to adaptability right now? Because if you are not learning to build that muscle of adaptability, especially in the age of AI, oof, it may be tough in the next few years, and that, whether it's AI or the next thing that's going to shift industries, that's going to shift the world, that's going to shift technology and evolution. I think the biggest thing is like, okay, adaptability is the one muscle that I can keep building no
Mhm.
matter how uncomfortable, because adaptability comes with a lot of change
Yeah.
and willingness to be imperfect, which we talked about just earlier.
Exactly. So yeah, so change is hard, right? It's hard for anyone, because hey, I want to be comfortable, right? I like here, I want to be here. But if you don't adapt to change, just like what happened in the 2001s, right? When the internet came up, what if we didn't get adapted to that? Like, you wouldn't know anything that's happening right now. And that's the shift that we are seeing again now with AI, where it's just this big leap that we have to jump. And then once you're there, I think it feels like this change is also more rapid than what we saw before, where you'll have to keep learning, you have to keep adapting to these changes, because all the changes that you're seeing now are, they are just multiplying every day. Like, there's something new happening every day. It's generative AI, then it's agentic AI. Now we're talking about quantum. So every single day there are new things that are happening that we have to learn about, we have to adapt to using them. So yeah, it's all about change. It's all about being resilient to that change.
Absolutely. I'm also fascinated with all of your mentorship work. And I think that like leadership is a skill in itself. A lot of us can be challenged by it quite a bit. And it doesn't always come naturally to people. So it's a skill that has to be reworked over time. Some people have a little more ease with it, but I'd be curious to get your take on what makes a great leader.
I would say that, at least for me, it has been good to to talk about my story,
Mm,
right? Because usually it's hard to kind of be vulnerable out there as a leader, to say things that I could have done wrong. But I think it is good to talk about that, so you're helping the next generation, or even your own generation, get through things faster, right? Because you have actually gone through it. There's no pointing in having other people go through that whole thing again, right? And that's what mentorship is about. I have had great mentors in my life, and I would always tell people, hey, they are actually telling you how to build the tire. If you're trying to build a tire as a triangle or a square, they'll come and tell you, hey, make it a circle. It'll be easier to roll on the floor, right? So on the road. So that's what mentors do. They make things easier for you because they have actually gone through that experience themselves. So rather than sitting there for hours wondering, oh, how do I do this? They are able to tell you, hey, you can take this step, and then you can move to the next level. And again, you might not have all the answers, and again, that's where all the other mentors come in, right? Like, everyone has their own experiences, and everyone goes through things differently in life. But I think the more we help, the more we are more vulnerable about, hey, this is what I went through, hey, you don't have to go through this, do this other way. it'll just get better for the next generations because they are able to have these multiple lessons, so they can actually achieve more, they can actually go through their potential, and they can again do whatever they put their mind to.
Absolutely. I think there's some key elements that you've shared there. The piece around leadership is actually the two-way street, and you said it beautifully. There's the leader, but there's also who's being led. And there's that piece of being willing to be coached. And you didn't say it in those exact words, but through your share, I was thinking, wait a minute, we can have incredible mentors, but if we are not open to applying the knowledge and wisdom that they're bringing to the table and all that experience,
Mhm.
then all of that wisdom, all of the richness of what they've moved through and taken years to understand will be dropped and lost in some ways. And what makes it so valuable is it actually gets passed down from one level to the next, from someone who's been through it to the next. And the next generation will have its own experiences, challenges, learnings, and they will have their own iteration and version that they will pass on to the next generation.
Yeah, it's all about that, right? It's passing down to generations. It's just, yeah, as you said, there is so much wisdom that every single person accumulates through their life. And if you are willing to be open, like I'm also a mentee to other mentors, right? So if I'm open to it, I get a lot of wisdom. If I'm not open, I might lose out on things. So it's always good to be open to receiving from people, from coaches, from mentors, coaches like you. So they help you, go through, like they can help you move through your limits, right? They can help you get to the full potential that you could be.
Yeah, absolutely. There is actually something you shared at the very, very beginning of our call. And it made me realize that, Sneha, you really are an expander for people. And we see it oftentimes with great leaders, great coaches, where the mentor can see greater than the person that's stuck in the situation. They can see the greater vision, they can see the fullness of the potential. And they're not, in some ways, filtered by the blocks and the hesitations and the doubts and the fears and the stories. And I think that, you've provided in everything that I know of you and your experience and the time that we spent together, it's very, very obvious that you are an expander for so many that you mentor. And I'm excited for that number of people to grow because I think you bring so much value to the table. It's been such an absolute pleasure to connect with you and to see you bloom really in this role, because it's not for everyone to truly be a great mentor.
Right, right. So again, it's sometimes when you're feeling down, you talk to a friend, right? And they can see you for the
Yeah.
full flower that you are, as you're saying, you can bloom, right? And I feel like that's what we have to do as mentors. We need to see uh, their full potential so then they can see it, right? Because I know I have had mentors who have seen me and they would say, "You can do this," and I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I can do it." Once I've done it. So it's always important to have those mentors, those coaches around you who are able to see that in you, and then they will help you see it, and then you can go and do it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And there's no greater joy, us that have been blessed to be mentors in our own worlds and in our own ways. There's no greater joy than seeing someone step into a next level of their expansion, of their identity, of their career, of their performance that they didn't understand the amplitude of at a previous level or in not so far past. It's like there's something that happens inside us that just explodes with joy, so it's a true privilege. It comes with a lot of responsibility, and it comes with being willing to make mistakes, but it's a privilege. It's a true privilege in this life.
Yeah, also putting your ego on the side, right? That's a big thing where you're like, yeah, you're helping them, yeah, but you have your ego, they have theirs, but you should always, I read this book, Ego is the Enemy, which is really, really good because it kind of helps you show, oh, where are these times when that could come in and that could derail you, right? and just to be open to everything. Don't think about yourself, think about the organization, think about the greater good, and that'll always help you
Yeah.
because it gives you back.
Yeah, and you're right, and Ryan Holiday's work is phenomenal, truly. And
Yeah.
I think there's something really powerful when, as a mentor, as a coach, as a consultant, we get out of the way of the work that's coming through us, right? Of
Yes.
how we're facilitating. We're really walking by this person, this organization, this project, and we may be helping in the guidance, but really we are as outside of the process as possible to really allow that wisdom, that intelligence, that creativity, and what's supposed to evolve and unfold do so naturally, which is a lot more sustainable in the way in the end.
Yes, yes, because you can't lead a horse to the water, right? So it's
Yeah.
yeah, how much do you want to do without really um, breaking them, right? It's like you can't open the shell, as you know, that for the butterfly to come out, because then you're kind of making it weaker, right? So how much can you help them? How much can they do it themselves? Because everything that they do will help them become more stronger.
Mm, yeah, and that's a skill that's very, very refined in this work. That
Mhm.
knowing when to push and when to say, "Ooh, this needs some space to breathe, space to integrate."
Yeah, yeah,
And as mentors, we've all been there. Oh, wait, maybe we're getting a sense of space here.
yeah.
Oh, so exciting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the future. Like, what do you see for the future in tech? What do you see for the future of women in tech? What are you excited about?
I am excited that there are a lot more women in tech, right? So they're getting into a lot more like the STEM majors. So I'm excited about that. I was someone who did start out in STEM. I I was a software developer for many years before I shifted into product management. Yes, there are less number of women there in that space than men, but it's not the mindset. I don't say there's anything having to do with gender there. But I'm excited that there are a lot more women in STEM because the more diversity that we have in a room, the better ideas you get to to do something good for the future, right? Because everyone brings in their own perspectives. So the
Yeah.
more diversity, the better for the organization itself.
Absolutely agree. It's like looking at a problem or a scenario or a project for so many different lenses and perspectives.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. What I also, I'm going to give a little shout out to women here, just because it's such a good little plug. Women oftentimes we look at problems or opportunities very holistically from so many different angles, and part of it is we're biologically designed to be mothers as women, and
Mhm.
so oftentimes it's like when we get the opportunity to share space with men in the room, the fact that we think so differently is so complementary one of the other. And I think that women in tech is one of the best disruptions we've needed in the last little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. And on that one, it's not just for women in tech, but for any women, right? I just wanted to give out an advice about, uh, you know, sometimes you can get stuck in I call it an achievement trap, right? We were talking about this credential treadmill before. There is also an achievement trap. And by that, I mean, you want to be perfect, right? That's one of the things like, oh, you have to do everything perfectly. That could the bad side of that is that could lead to burnout, right? Because everything needs to be perfect. That could also hold you back because if you're doing something really perfect, no one wants you to move out of that role, right? So that could be holding you back. The other one is where you cannot make any mistakes. Oh my gosh, I cannot make any mistakes. This has to be perfect, right? Again, that cannot make any mistakes, that would turn into taking lesser and lesser risks, right? And trying out less things. And those again are not good overall because you are again being in your comfort zone. You don't want to try too much because that might lead to a mistake. But I guess for these both, being perfect and being not making any mistakes. I would say don't think of mistakes as a mistake. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn. Think of being a lifelong student. I'm learning, right? Everything I get is a lesson. Everything I get is an opportunity. Okay, something went wrong. Focus on what did I learn from it, right? What's the lesson I learned from this? And use it as a step to get to the next level. That's what you have to do. Don't think of mistakes as, oh, I'm going to be blamed. No, think of them as opportunities, and try to get as many as you can. Be a little risk taker, like take some risk, because again, people see that, and that's where potential comes from, right? They're like, oh, they're willing to do this. They want to go to the next level, or the next level up there, right? When they see the potential, they are seeing that, oh, you're willing to do things. And that's what I would say for women to kind of do that, because there could be this achievement trap, as I was talking about, could be holding you back. And again, you have to kind of break out of that to push yourself and to get to the next level.
Beautiful. I think there's a huge teaching this. And I had never heard of the achievement trap. I think such a beautiful way to
I
frame
just coined it.
it. Of course. So good. Hashtag the achievement trap. Manam. Just want to put a credibility out there. So good. And it is true. The thing is, how many times have we hesitated taking an opportunity or taking our
Mhm.
shot because we're thinking, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I don't make the net? Or, what if
Yeah,
I fail or I make a mistake in front of my colleagues or my mentors and my boss? And there are so many opportunities, and these opportunities are teaching moments. And these teaching moments lead to evolution. Evolution leads to confidence, confidence, and it just grows and grows and grows.
yeah,
So there's one person out there that's willing and courageous to show up imperfect and take all the shots on net necessary to make that one. And then there are some of us that are still hesitating and waiting and hoping and wishing. And it's to choose, who am I today? Who
yeah.
am I today? It doesn't, I could have a history in either category, but who am I choosing to be from now on out?
Exactly. Yeah, because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't try for, right? You have to try once, and maybe you'll get it. Keep trying. You will hit it, as you're saying. Make 100, you might get one, but odds might not be that bad in the real world, and that's what I'm saying. We might be thinking too much about what could go wrong, while we're really not thinking about what could go right. Right? Always think about, oh, if this actually happens, what all opportunities can I get? Who could be seeing me at this time doing this? That they would say, hey, I like her. She's my next employee, right? So always, put yourself out there and always try for things.
Beautiful. Oh, Sneha, a perfect way to wrap a bow around today's conversation. I just wanted to share with people this space, this beautiful space that we've had the absolute privilege of connecting through, which has been PLA. Do you want to share a little bit with the audience, like what has your experience been with PLA in the last little while? What has been actually the greatest teaching or learning that you've gained through your experience with PLA?
I would say that it's like I did my MBA, right? This is like having a continuous MBA if you're in PLA.
Wow.
It's well-rounded lessons that you get all the time, and it's not just about mindset. You also talk about technology, what's coming up next. So you're always in the midst of what's actually happening out there, and you're also working on yourself. So I would say overall, it's just for a lifelong student like me, this is just amazing and perfect because I get to kind of learn every day. I get to do different things. I get to achieve my goals. So this has been amazing, I would say, with the coaches, and you're one of the coaches. So with all of you guys, it's been amazing.
Oh, thank you, Sneha. It's been an absolute privilege to see you in this community and shine, really, and to get to connect with you on a personal level and get to know your values and how much you embody the work, like truly, truly embody the qualities of a great leader and a great mentor. And I see it. I see it in how you show up and how committed you are to working on yourself. And I think that anybody listening to this is like one question or invitation I would have is, where are you playing still small in your life? Where is it that you really have an opportunity to step up and you're leaving potential still on the table? So I'm just putting that out there as a question. Feel free to reflect on it. Whoever's listening to the recording or live, would love for you to just think about that. I'm going to put up a QR code in just a moment, not just yet, but I'll pull it up in just a minute of the next free training for PLA. So if it speaks to you, if this last little bit, you think, you know what, I'd be curious, you're more than welcome to join. Literally no strings attached. And if not, all is good. But I want people that this is for, that they can find it, because there are incredible resources and incredible people out there. And it's my job and mission to connect both of those beautiful things together. And it's been an absolute gift and privilege to meet Sneha through it. It's a connection I hold near and dear to my heart, obviously.
Me too. Me too.
So I'm going to just pull up the QR in just a moment. Beautiful. So I'm going to share this little QR code right here. You can scan it over, and this will have all the details to the next free training, a little bit about PLA and the beautiful organization and community that I have been absolutely privileged to be a part of, and have gotten the opportunity to meet people as brilliant as Sneha, and all the wonderful people and teachings from everything that happens in PLA. You'll get a little glimpse and taste of it through this. So I'm just going to move this. Sneha, thank you so, so much for the time that we've gotten shared together today. Like, really, I even got inspired and so much value from it. And it's really good.
Yeah, you inspire us every day. So I'm so glad to be here, and it was amazing. Thank you.
Oh, hopefully we get to do this again soon. We're going to put it out there.
Yeah.
And to everyone, I hope you got some value, maybe taken some reflections and from this beautiful conversations, and implement one simple action from what you've learned today between this beautiful conversation with Sneha and I. And we'll talk so soon. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.